waiting for this thing to come, and today we are going to do hooks, everybody's favorite hooks, which because of that the people have forgot class-based component, and class-based component, as they were a pain we seen in the yesterday's class also, when we learned that lifecycle methods, and it was a pain. Okay, those lifecycle methods and all those things are pain. So we will learn about hooks now. And so let's get started with hooks. And hooks will go today also and tomorrow also, and that effectively it completes all of React. I was thinking of completing Redux also, but the thing is that Redux, I will continue in next week. I will do Redux. Okay, next week I will do Redux, but the Redux, yeah, it is a part of advanced React also, and not all the people use Redux. Okay, so that is there. So let me share my screen. Okay, so we'll use a new project. I have just a blank project, and it is having this just a npm start I have done. Okay, so after that, again we will have this src app.js. Let me go here. I'll have a new components folder, and then here. Okay, so one more thing to tell. We are going to see first a class-based component, and then we're going to convert it into a hook-based component. Okay, so all the things we are going to see like that, but because that's a good way to learn. Okay, so we're going to see like that. And app.js is there. Let me remove all the things from here. Nothing much, and we'll just create a component. So first component is class counter.js. So class counter.js, as I told, we'll do a class-based component and we are going to convert it into a hook-based. Okay, so rcc I'll do, and export default class counter I'll do. Okay, and here let us have our const also, and in a constructor we'll have a count. Okay, and just have a count variable which is 0, and then after that let me come here, and here I am going to have a button. No, my j6 is not working. Button, I'm going to have button, and it will show the count is equal to this dot state dot count. Just this dot state dot count it is showing. I should not have these things. Okay, and also we will have a on click. So this is just simple a counter which we are increasing, so that's why it is a class counter. And this dot increment count, this dot increment count is there. Okay, now this increment count I'm going to have, and as always we will take an arrow function so that we don't have to worry about this. And then this dot set state we are going to do count, just a simple count is equal to this dot set state dot count, that's +1. So we are going to do that. Okay, just a simple class based counter. Then I will come here and class counter, make sure it is imported, make sure it is closed, save it, and this I don't need, save it. Now if I go here, the class counter has been shown, because the class counter has been shown, and it has got this 0, and I will increase it, it will get increased. So normal counter is there, nothing fancy about it and this. But the main thing is that this whole logic we are going to change it to hooks. So as first hook which we are going to see is the UseState hook. Okay, so as we've seen that this all logic, we have to create a state variable and then do a set state to change it, and all these things are there. So the same thing which we are going to do, we are going to with the UseState hook, because in a hook functional component we have the concept of hooks, we don't have this and all these things. Okay, so let us convert this. Okay, so instead of class content I will have a hook counter .js, hook counter.js, and here also it is RAFCE, a functional component. I'll have arrow function, normal function based component, it doesn't matter. So now we will introduce the state to it. Okay, how we will introduce the state to it? So const count and set count is react.useState. Also we can do, but generally we don't do that. Means useState, let me do it from import it here. So this is how we import it. Okay, so what is this whole thing, whole weird kind of thing? Okay, let me do one thing, let me complete the code, and then I will explain. Okay, so button is there, and hook count is count like this, and on click is like this, and set count is count plus 1, just this much. And if I just let me import this also here, hook counter, like save it, and if this hook count is also working same. So what is this all logic and all these things? So let me explain it. So see, now we have a concept of hooks here. So hooks are nothing but this, if you can recognize it from ES6 class, it is array destructuring. So it is array destructuring, and what here we have count is equal to 0. So array destructuring, the count value is equal to 0. So this is the initial state. So count is equal to 0. This is this statement is exactly equal to this dot state dot count equal to 0, and this count is equal to 0 is exactly similar to that. Okay, and then we have a set count. Okay, what is a set count? Set count is nothing but something like set state, but in class-based component what we have a common set state for everything. So if I have 10 state variables here, so everything I have to do it through set state. But in hook based thing, functional component, what it is there, I have a separate for everything. Okay, I could have named it anything, but this is the standard to name it something like this. This is the count, then it will be set, we use it, and then a set count will be there. So it is nothing but a set state, and we have to define it, okay, earlier. And this is the array destructuring we are doing, and then inside it, it's just like a state variable, but we don't have that word this dot state. We can directly use it like count and set count. So this statement is exactly similar to this statement, this dot set state, and we don't need to do this dot and one more thing is there, one more difference is this. So here in the this dot set state, we're passing an object. So this is a function in which we are passing an object. So we don't have to pass an object or something like that here, and just we can do the count plus 1. So it's something like this. We don't have to do a key value thing. Okay, we can directly do it like this. So this is what is our set. So the logic becomes so much simpler. Only you have to know, as I was always telling, that ES6 is very, very important. This is ES6 stuff. This thing is ES6 array. This is array destructuring. So array destructuring in place. So if you think that ES6 is only for temporary thing, no, it is not. Like array destructuring is there. Okay, and this is all about use state in simple way, and this is how we use the use state. Okay, so the next thing we are going to use state doesn't complete there. So we have some more thing in use state, and that we are going to do now. Those things we are going to do. So the thing which we are going to do is the use state with previous state we are going to choose. Okay, so okay, so let me do one thing. Let me create a new hook counter 2.js, hook counter 2.js I have done, and again RAFCE, and then we are directly going to do the previous count. So previous state we have already seen in the class based component that they are required at some places. Okay, so let us see at what place it is required. We are not going to see that example again, so we are going to see. Okay, so let me have a const initial state initial count equal to 0, and const count and set count is initial count, and we have to import this also, and we have to import it. So use state, we have imported it. Okay, now inside it we'll have a count, which is nothing but count. Okay, now we'll have three buttons. Okay, button on click, and it is set count is initial count, which is known as reset. Then we'll have a increment one, increment, and we'll have a decrement one. Okay, decrement on, so just like the initial count is there, count plus one, increment count minus one is decrement. So we have just doing this thing. Okay, so now save it. Hook counter 2, I'll go here, close it, close it. Save it. So this increment, decrement, and all these things are there. Okay, so increment is working fine, decrement is working fine, reset is working fine. So all of them are working fine. This is how we can do this initial count thing. Now what we are going to do, we are going to see the same issue which we have seen there, seen in the class based also. So we are going to have a button, and what it is going to do, button, and this is increment 5, increment 5 I'll have, and on click is equal to increment 5, on click is equal to increment 5. So this is a function which we are going to create. So increment 5, const increment 5 is equal to a for loop will be there. Okay, a for of let I equal to 0, I is not less than, I is less than 5, I plus plus. So 5 times I'm going to, because it is an increment. Okay, not it is increment count, this is increment 5, increment 5 it is there, and then this for loop is there, and then inside this for loop I am going to have a set count is count plus 1. So we are just doing this set count 5 times. Okay, doing this set count 5 times, and then it is done. So again the same issue will come, which is in class based component. If we React try to optimize everything, and we will get it increase only by 1. So like this I'll go and increment it is a working problem, but if I do this only one time, it is incrementing. So what is the problem is that when React sees a lot of set count at one place, so for let I equal to 0, I is less than 5, I plus plus, what is does it is optimizing this thing and will do it only once. And for this cases we need the pref count. Okay, pref count, just as in class based also we need the pref count, and pref count giving here is actually very easy. We have to do a pref count. Pref count is arrow function, and it's pref count plus 1. So we are giving pref count here. So if we are giving pref count here, we should give pref count here also. Means everywhere we should be using the same, although it is not necessary, but yeah, for it's better to give a pref count. Okay, so pref count is pref count plus 1, and here pref count pref count is minus 1. We are going to give, save it. Go here, increment is also working fine, decrease, this is also working fine. 5, 7, 12, and it is also working fine. So this is the another thing which we have just learned. Okay, and we have seen this pref count thing in a class base, so I'm not going to explain again those things. Okay, so now the good things about use state. Now there are some bad things or bad things about use state also, which we should learn, but those things are not that much bad. They're not bad things. There are some extra things which you have to do when you use this use state, and which will not occur when we use this set state. It will not occur. Okay, but if we use state, it will occur. Okay, so let me have another. So we are first going to see use effect with object. What is the object? So if the initial state is an object, then what? Okay, so we'll see that. And then hook counter 3.js we are going to do, and hook counter 3 const name comma set name equal to use state first name and last name. So we are going to have it like this. Okay, so use state which is taking an object and which is have a first name and a last name. Okay, like this it is having. So this, and again we have to import this or else I'll forget, and this is there. So now we just want to update both of them, just in the it, so it can be anything, like the initial state is the object, it can alias in it's an integer, it's a number and all these things. Okay, so now what we are going to have, we are going to have a form here, form, and then input type text, input type text, and value is name dot first name, and on change we're directly doing it like this, directly doing it, and here only we are doing it. So a name dot first name, and it is set name we are doing, and first name is e dot target dot value, because we have to do the first name. Similarly I am going to do for the last name. Last name is e dot target dot value. Now let me do h2. H2, I don't know what is, why it is not coming, h2. Okay, h2 is there. First name is name dot first name, and last name is name dot last name. Okay, save it. And now counter 3 I am going to do, and then I'll come here first name and last name. So this is the first name and this is the last name. So let me enter my first name, let me enter my last name. See, the moment I enter my last name, my first name is gone, and the moment I enter something here, the last name is gone. So why is this happening? And it got disappeared. So like this, I've given the space, and I press anything here, this is disappeared, anything here, this is disappeared. So why this is happening? So to see why this is happening, we have to do one more thing here, and h2 is json dot stringify, not set a name, json dot stringify. I want to do the name, so I want to see what is there. Okay, so this is just like this last name, and okay, let me refresh it, and again let me give it, first name is done. Okay, and now I'll do this second name is, so see this is string. So whenever I do something here, only at that time that is coming, and if I do something here, that time only that last name is coming. So why this is happening? Because use state doesn't automatically update and merge the object. So there is something like merging the object. Okay, so it doesn't merge the object. Okay, it will never merge the object. So set state used to do merge the object. In fact, the set state have that you are passing the object itself, so it will merge the object, but it will not merge the object. So there is a merging is there, and we know how to merge an object, and that is by spread operator. We do that spread operator. So what does spread operator do? If you give an object, so whatever the earlier value was there, it will take it. So this, what we are going to do, dot 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 name, we have to comma, and dot 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 name, we have to do comma, save it, and then let me refresh it. Now into miswas. So it is coming perfectly now. So this is the issue, means we have to spread in. So when we are typing the last name, the first name will be spread. When you're typing the last name, the first name, then the last name will be spread. So it is like that. Okay, so this is there. Now what we are going to do, we are going to learn use state with array. Again, we have a problem there, so which we don't have in a class based component again, but again we have one. So this is a very small problem. This is not something with which we will not use the hooks. Okay, so hooks are very powerful, and if you start a project today, you should always start it with hook. Okay, so that is there. So now the next thing is hook counter 4.js. hook counter 4.js I'll do, and this I'll do, and const items comma set items is use state of an empty array. Okay, empty array. So let me take this use, I don't know why it is done. Okay, so use state is been imported. Now what we are going to do, let me have a button here, and on click will be there. In that button on click, it will call an item, add item, it will call. See, in functional comment there is no this and all those things, so those stuff are not there. So that's why they have made it even more easier. Add a number. I will have a button for add a number, and what it will do this, let me make this. Okay, const add a number equal to like this, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this set items is dot 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 items. So this is again the main thing. See, I have to do this dot 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 items is there, I have to do. So I'm doing this dot 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 items, whatever earlier it was there. So initially it is an empty array, so initially it will take as empty, and then I'm passing an object. Just I'm creating an object out of it, but here I'm passing an id. Id is items dot length, and it's a very cool thing. Id is item dot length. So what is happening the first time, what will happen, items of length is 0, so id will be 0. Next time we are going to add one thing. When you click the button, we are going to add one thing. So what will happen, the id will become 1. Next time again id will become 2, because items of length is 2. So every time we add something, the id will automatically, so you will get a unique id out of that. Okay, and the id I'm passing, and the next thing I'm passing value. Value is anything. Value is anything I can do, means math random I'm doing, and we can do anything. Okay, so it is okay, and then it will be closed. So add items is adding this object have id and a value. Just we are going to see. Okay, so the main thing here was to teach that we have to do the dot 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 items here also. Okay, so now just we are going to see that my it's a ul I am going to do, and not use effect or all, I don't know, ul I'll do, and I will map through that items dot map. An item I'll do, and just ul, if I'm done, then I'm going to do a li. So li I'll do li key is item.id, and item.value is there, and then I will close it. Okay, so like this, and then the UL will close, and the UL is closing, and this is like this, item.id and item.value. Just I'm passing it, save it. Now hook counter 4 I'll come, and here counter 4, hook counter 4, hook counter 4, save it, and add a number. See, 8 has been added. So a unique number is getting added just because of a math random and all this is when we're showing the value and we are using the id as a unique id. Okay, so this is about an arrays in UseState. Now the next thing we are going to learn about is use effect hook. So there is always a thing that people think whether the use effect is the most important hook or the use state. Actually these two are the most important hooks. You will see some other hooks also, but mostly people use these two hooks only. And after that you have something, sometimes you use the use context, use then use refs. Really we use the use callback, use mem. Those are really used hooks, and those I'm not going to cover also. And then there are custom hooks and all. We can create our own custom hooks, but one of the most important hooks is the use effect hook. Even more, I think it is more important than the use state. Why? This hook is a different type of hook. This replaces all the lifecycle method. Yeah, one hook replaces all the lifecycle method, literally all the lifecycle method, all the different lifecycle method we have seen. But as I told earlier also, all means not all. All means actually component did mount, component did update, and component will unmount is also there. So that three things it will change, and it will, because React team also think that these three are the most essential lifecycle matters, and nothing else is there. So which we use, as we have already learned, that should component pro update and all those things are not really use lifecycle matter. So the component did mount and component did update are the main one. So let us see that through example. So as I have told, that use effect is what it replaces the lifecycle matter, mainly the component did mount, component did update, and component will unmount. So again, what we are going to do, we're going to again see it with an example. And again what we are going to do, we are going to first create a class based component, and then we are going to change it to a hook based component. So it is a class counter 1 dot js I'll do, and this like this I'll do, and constructor, and we are going to have this count thing again. Count is 0. We are going to have this again. Okay, my bad, I have to do RCC, not that thing. In a functional component I was going to have your state. Okay, our const is there and count is 0. So same example we are going to have, but we'll have it a bit different way. So here I am going to have a button, and on click is, we'll update the state here itself. Okay, we'll update the state here itself, and it will be like this. This dot set state count is equal to this dot state dot count plus 1. This dot state dot count plus 1 is the count. And one more thing which we are going to do is the this click. So we are going to have it like here only. Click is this dot state dot count times we have clicked it. So the button itself will show how many times it has been done. Let me also okay. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 9 10 it is doing. Okay, so that is there. But now what do I want to do? I want to show this count in the title also. This title we are seeing, I want to show this count here also. So how we can do there is document or title which we can use to show this, but how initially the count will be shown. So we have to use the lifecycle methods for this. So component did mount we are going to use, and then document dot title is click this dot state dot times I am going to have. Okay, and similarly I'm going to have a component did update, because component did update I require, because component did mount will only run during the initial mount, but when the state is changed, when the state is changed, because we click this, the component did mount doesn't run. So at that time component did update run. So we want to show that changed title change, so we have to use that component did update. Okay, actually component did update take two props, which is priv props and priv state it has, and then document dot title is again click this many times and it will, what happened, okay, to complete it. Okay, this render is coming here. Okay, okay, so this things is there and it will show that. So the first time when I when the components loads, what will happen, this is showing as 0 because of component did mount. But if I change the state, the component did mount didn't run again, which we have seen. So this component did update will kick in and it will show it. Okay, so let me click it. So this one is there, 2 is there, 3 is there. So this is also changing. So this is how it works, how it works in a class based component. Okay, so now we are going to do it in a, we're going to change this thing in a hook counter. So let us do that. And hook counter 1.js, I'm going to do RAFC. Finally I can do RAFC here. Okay, so that is done. And const count and set count, I will have a use state, because we have to have a state. So definitely we are going to have a use state. And now again let us do that thing, that button I'm going to have, and on click is set count is count plus 1, count plus 1, and here click count times, click count times is there. Okay, save it, and we have it here. Also imported counter 1. Okay, and let me remove this because it will, okay, so it is coming because of this and we have not set it yet. So let's see. Yeah, it will be working fine because we have done it through the set count. Okay, now we want to do the same thing. We want to update the title, So how we will do update the title? For that we need lifecycle methods, but we don't have lifecycle method in a functional component. So we have something known as use effect hook, which replaces everything and which is used in a different ways. How it replaces everything we're soon going to see, because it is been used in a different way. So we are going to have this use effect now here, and we have to import it also. So if we import it like that, and then here document.title, click this many times. Okay, document.title, click $times. Okay, and click 0 time is coming, and it is working fine, and our code is done. And our code is done. How our code is done? So this is how the use effect hooks work. Okay, and this is in its most primitive and type of configuration. There are many different type of configuration. So this thing replaces these two hooks, because if you don't pass, so we will soon see that we can pass something here. If you don't pass something here, what does use effect work? Use effect works as a component did mount plus component did update. So these are some of the things which you all should know. It works as a component did mount plus component did update, both of those things combined. Okay, so it will work as both component did so first time when the initially this component will load, it will show it as 0, because it is working as component did mount. But when we change the state by clicking on this button, it will, what it is going to do, it will work as a component did update, because what is happening there, component did update, it is working because then it changes whenever the state gets changed, then only the component did update files. So it is a combination of both of them. When we don't give anything here, so we'll soon see that we can pass something here. Okay, so it is how only this line of code replaces this all logic. So it will launch, it will run during the initial mount also, and a subsequent update in the state due to click of the button. Okay, so this is how it runs. Okay, so now we are going to see a lot of different types of use effect. Use effect is very powerful, and use effect, a bit of changes we do, and we'll see that we can change a lot of things here. Okay, so let us do the other thing. Okay, so other thing is that, so let me change it here only. Why to do it at some other place? So in this class based component, we are now, what we are going to see, we are going to see conditional use effect. So conditional use effect, what I'm going to have now, one more thing, like I'm going to have one more thing, so that's why I'm having a react fragment here. Okay, what I'm going to have now, I'm going to have another state known as name empty string. Name is an empty string. Okay, then I will have a input box which will change this state. Input type is text, values is a state, on changes this is a state, and it is changing it. Okay, so name is e.target.value. I don't like these things. Okay, okay, so this is like this, just we're changing it. Okay, so that is there, and component did mount and did update is also there. Okay, and here I'll just put a console.log because I want to show something. Console.log updating document title, updating document title. I'm going to do save it. So see, in this, okay, do I have this class counter? I don't think I have this. So I have this now. Okay, like this, both of these things I have input box and this click thing. So these two things are linked, and see, it is updating, so it is working fine. And the logic, component did mount, component did update, logic, I put this, but this input box is just different, and we have put this so that we can type also. Okay, so now I will show one thing. First thing is that, let me refresh it. Open hot view page source, open the console. Now one thing is there, If I click here updating document title, which is okay, updating document title, it is running because I'm updating it, and then the component did update is running and all, that is okay. But if I write something here, then also this updating document title is running, which is actually a wrong thing, because it here I don't want, I'm not updating the document title, I'm not updating this count variable, but then also it is running, I am updating the state variable. So as such you won't see any errors in that, but this is a very big performance issue. It is updating it, because what happening, whenever some state get changed, whenever some state get changed, all this lifecycle method runs again. Okay, so we don't want it to run again, we don't want the component data update to run again. So what we can do here in a class based component, the solution is, if, as I have told, we have access to the previous state, if previous state dot count is not equal to this dot state dot count, then only we will run this. What does that mean? So suppose the previous state was 2 and the new state is also 2, because we have not changed the state, because we have changed the name, so this will not run. But suppose the previous state is 2, but I have actually clicked on the button, so now the real state is 3, so 2 is not equal to 3, then it will run. So that is how conditional rendering we are going to do. So let me remove this. So I'm clicking, it is updating. Now here I am writing, let's see, it was stuck at 5 and it is not updating. So this is how it is there in a class based component. We are doing all this crazy logic we are going to do. So now the same thing means, let us have the same thing here also, and so I'm going to use the same thing. I could have created something else also, but it is okay. Console.log, let me write use effect, so you can see, although I'm going to change it. So like the hook count I'll do. Okay, again I have to add that input box, so let us add that input box. And see, one of the weird thing in user state, this state variable is that I have to all the time I have to create a constant in class based component. What does the in this or state I can do, and in production project I've seen this or state to be very big also, but here we have to create, every time we have to create a variable. Okay, so like const name comma set name is use state of empty array. Okay, and then I will have again I will have everything wrapped fragment input type equal to type equal to text, value is equal to name, so not no this dot name or something like that, and this dot state or something like that. On change is e is set name is e dot targeted value, direct we are going to have it e is set e dot targeted value. So this is how it will work. Let me have some space here. So this is there, and again we are having this use effect updating document title and all these things. Okay, so I want to show that it is coming from here, and again I'm going to click it, it will, and again, but I'm going, even if I'm going to do it, it will update it. So we have the same problem here also, means it. So now I want to run it conditionally, only when I click on the button and the count state variable change. So how to do it here? I have to pass a second parameter like this, and here I'll do array, I have to put the count. So I can put the count, so it will only depend on the count only. So initially that component did mount will run, but the component did update kind of thing, the conditional thing which you are just seeing, the conditional thing will only run if the count variable is changed, and not the some other values, so not the name values change. So I've seen in production what happens, suppose it depends on 10 things, so you can give it with comma also. In production projects we have given the comma and then the count, name, and all those things we can have given. Save it, and now if I go here and if I close it and let me refresh it, and use effect, so it was done to the initial mount, and then this is updating, but here I do a window and see it is not updating, so this conditional thing is working fine. Okay, now we'll look into use effect only once. Okay, use effect only once we are going to see, and for that we are going to change our example. Actually, enough of that this count. You must have also be bored with this count. I could have used in this one only, but let us use it in a different thing. And again we are going to use a class based first. Okay, class mouse dot js, class mouse, I have this class mouse here. Save it. Okay, constructor x is 0 and y is 0, so we are having this thing. So now what we are going to have inside this div, we are going to have this x is this dot state dot x, and y is this or state dot y. We have something like this. Okay, the strings to be showing the state, and x and y are being shown. Okay, now what we are going to have, actually this, let me h2, let it be big. Okay, so how we will change it? Okay, component did mount we are going to have, and here so we are going to have an event listener. So window dot add event listener we can do here also, and mouse move, and mouse move is this dot handle mouse move we are going to call a function. So mouse move we are adding an event listener. So this is how we can add event listener with component did mount, because this is the place where we do all this. This is also known as side effects. You'll hear this term a lot, side effect. So this mouse move I have done, and it is calling a function. This dot handle mouse move, and let me make that function. Okay, handle mouse move equal to event is there, event is coming, and this will do a this dot set state, and this will do. So what is this? So this is nothing but, I don't like it actually like this bracket is not necessary. Okay, so what I'm doing, event.client text. So this is a browser property, client text and client y. This is a browser property. We can access this browser property and prove it what happened exactly the mouse position we can do. So I'm having an event listener now on the mouse move, and whenever the x get changed, even a bit of x is changed, it will detect the mouse position, and this or set state will run, and whenever this or set state is run, what happens, this get re-rendered and this will show the state. Okay, so now if I move, if I come back here, see the mouse thing I'm moving, it is, so even the one thing is moved, this or set state get fired, and it has been shown. So this is working, how it is working there. And when the initial load component did mount, when the initial mount is there, we are adding an event listener for the mouse move. Okay, so this is like this, and Now we are going to change this to a hook based thing. Okay, so hook based thing, see this the main thing is that component did mount. With component did mount we have run, this add event listener is working only once, so it is not adding the mouse move every time, only once. It's so this we are going to change to hook, and then what is we are going to write hook mouse.js and RAFCE hook mouse. Here I'm going to have two states, const x and set x is not like this, remove this, use state, and then const y and set y is like this. Okay, so then we are again going to have a shoe is good, hook x equal to just x and y we have to put like this because there is no this dot set state and all those things are there. Then component amount, what is the replacement component amount? It is a use effect hook. So I'll come here and do the use effect hook. I'm going to do use effect I'm going to do, and then I'll have a console dot log of, let us have it here only, hook use effect called okay. Now we'll have this window not add event listener, and mouse move and handle mouse move is there, and then I will end this. Okay, end this, but okay, I'll come back to this. Let us it is okay, let it be there. Const handle mouse move is event, and set y and set x is there. Okay, so these things are there. So here this is also normal, means here we have this dot set, but here we have to do it like this. But what is this weird kind of thing here, empty array? So when we give the empty array, what happens in a use effect loop? It will work only like this component did mount. When we are not passing anything, what was happening? Component did mount plus component did update, but we want only the component did mount. So we'll pass this empty array. Now it is only component did mount. There is not component did update, only it will work as component did mount and only run during the initial render, not during when we change the state and all those things. It will not run at that time. So this is component did mount kind of a code for use effect. And when you pass something here, that is component did mount is also there. Component did mount plus component did update with some conditions. So see, we are seeing three conditions right now. Okay, so three types. So this is the third type. Save it, and hook mouse. Let me do the hook mouse only. Hook mouse, hook mouse, hook mouse. Save it, and it is working fine. It is working fine, exactly like that. Okay, so now we will look into one more thing before closing for today, because I have a call at 10. Okay, so that is the use effect with cleanup. So there is something which I didn't told in when I was doing the life cycle method for your class-based component. I didn't did that, and that is there is something known as component will unmount. So it is very important, and it generally it will unmount when something is there, and it is very much important in something like that add event listener we are doing. So we should always remove the event listener also when the component is unmounted, when it is removed. So we are going to do that, and this time we are going to see directly with a functional component only why it is required. So for that we are going to do what we are going to do in the components. I'll come and have a mouse container dot js. I'm going to do this mouse container dot js, then this, then const display comma set display is use effect. So I'm taking a boolean. By default I'm taking a true. Okay, so this is something else, means we are soon going to see what I'm doing. UseState, import it. Now what I'm going to have here, I'm going to have a button here, button, and in that I will have toggle display, and on click I will have this display toggle. Okay, on click will be equal to like this, and set display is not of display. So whatever it is there, I'll do the opposite of it. Okay, so if it's true, it will do false. If it is false, it will do the true. So just a toggle thing is there. Okay, by default this is true initially, then it will make to false. Okay, so if it is there, then I am going to, this is display and then I'm doing, okay, display and then I'm doing means true or false, whatever. And if it is true, then only hook mouse solution. If it is false, hook mouse will not be shown. So let me also import this hook mouse here. And now what I'm going to do is that this mouse container, okay, hook mouse, before this we have to do one more thing. We have to have a console log here also, console log, because we are going to see one issue now. Mouse event maybe. Okay, so now this mouse container will be called from this app.js, not this hook mouse. So this mouse container, I will go, and mouse container will be called from here and here and here. Yeah, mouse container will be called. Okay, mouse container will be called. So let me come back here and see as it is working. Okay, it is working. Okay, let me do a inspect, let me do a console. Okay, it is working. So now the moment I do the toggle display, click on the toggle display, what it is do, it should unmount it, it should be dissipate. So I do the toggle display, it is dissipate. Okay, it is dissipate. We are not seeing the x and y, but see, mouse event is still going on, mouse event is still going on, because the this is not been destroyed. This is when we have to unmount it, we have to unmount it. Okay, we have to unmount it. So if you have to do this in a class based, although I have not used this class base, so in this mouse container, what I would have done, there is something known as component will unmount is there. Okay, so here I'll do, and I'll do a windows dot this I have done, and it will be working. And windows dot add event listener I have to do whenever this is unmounted. So here similarly, so what is the replacement for this component will unmount? So component will unmount replacement is also in the use effect, but it is in a weird kind of way. So what happens here, I'll come, and there is something known as a return. Okay, return, and it have to go exactly like this, a function and all this. And then what is the hook cleanup code I have writing and rating, and mouse move, remove event listener, and log handle mouse position, whatever is there. So this thing is very important, this thing. So this is how it is done. Save it, and then I'll go back. First let me refresh it. This is working. Hook use effect called. So first this was done, hook use effect called, then mouse event is getting fired, then I'll do the toggle display. Now see, this hook cleanup code was run, so it is giving this console log, and even now this is not working. So this is how we do the component will unmount. This is the component will unmount, this return thing is there. And with this we've come halfway in our hook, and the hook will be completed tomorrow. And actually the whole of React basic to advanced will be completed Next week I'm thinking, let me show myself. Next week I'm thinking of doing the Redux thing, because React is will be done, and Redux and maybe some projects also I'll do for yeah, for Redux only I'll do some projects. Let me do for some Redux projects only, Redux projects. So next will be Redux basic to advanced, and I'll do the projects also for Redux, some of the projects, so that you can learn Redux in a good way. So next week is a very important. It's Redux is still kicking in. So some people might say, okay, Redux is gone, we can use context API. No, context API is very small, and only some small object or something can be passed. Redux is still there in production code, and it will be there in the future, and they have created some very good logic in Redux, because they have done implemented the hooks in a very good way. They have some custom made hooks. So earlier what happened, Redux used to be a bit more complicated, because there was a map state to prop map, reduce dispatch to props, that all those things we are going to learn. So next week is Redux week, and this was not planned, this Redux week, because I thought that I will be able to complete this React and the Redux and the projects and all this thing. But it seems like React is a big thing, means with Redux also. So as I promised, I will do everything. So Redux next week is Redux week with projects, and tomorrow is the last day for your React. And as I've told, if you want to get a certification, there is a link is there in the description. You go to that, pay a minimal amount, and today also on Friday I have this weekly coaching call, in which after the call I have taken questions from my members from my paid community. So if you take that also, you can be a part of a paid community, and I will help you in all the ways which I can help. It's a very small amount, and you can get a certificate also, but you have to complete the assignment. As I have told, it is there, the process is there. So with this I will end today's stream, and I will see tomorrow at same time. And tomorrow I have at 3 p.m. Web development workshop also for 3 hours. If you want to attend, it is very basic HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Most of the people who are attending the React, I think they don't need it, but if you want a refresher, it is there, mainly concentrating on HTML, but CSS and JavaScript will also be covered, the basics of it. So with this, I will end this stream. Thank you all for joining. Please do subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. I have already reached 1K marks, and with your support I can soon reach 10K, and I can soon reach more people.